on this week's episode, it is the last episode of the year!
Yes, we are doing our year wrap-up and taking you through all the things that have happened.
So stick around.
Hello and welcome to Rare with Flair,
The podcast where two best friends with the same rare disease are living our best lives. I'm your host, Cassandra.
And I'm your host, Casey.
Wow, can you believe it, girl? Can you believe we're like at the end of the year?
I can't. Well, you say the end, that makes it sound like we're at the end.
No. We are not.
No. Just the end of the year. No, I can't believe it at all. Actually, I was going to tell you something funny that has to do with today's episode.
Oh, please tell.
So, guess what I did earlier today?
What did you do earlier today?
I listened to both of our year-end reviews from the last 2 years, back to back.
Oh, cute.
Yes, so if you guys are OG listeners, you know that we've done this, like, year-wrapped thing twice now. This will be our third time. We did a 2020, 2021, 2022. It's really cool. I'm a really nostalgic person. I like to look back and see how things have changed. And it was, oh my gosh, the 2021 girl, it was wild. Like, things have changed so much in those 2 years. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And last year's was interesting too. Like, it was just interesting to hear what we had done all year. And I think these are a really cool time capsule to go back and see what we've been up to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it too, because I think this is kind of the episode where we talk a little bit more personally. We'll tell stories about our lives, but not always in the context that they're happening. So this episode gives a little more context into our lives. So I feel like that might be exciting for the listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot, and if you don't want to do this because I'm putting you on the spot, that's fine. But if you could describe this year in a phrase or a word, because this year was kind of weird for both of us.
I think so.
We're not going to get too personal necessarily. We try to keep that a barrier. But what was the overall vibe of this year? Do you have I have a thought.
Yeah. For me, the word that comes to mind is whiplash.
Oh, whiplash.
Really, I had some really, high moments this year, and then some really difficult moments as well. So it was very much a mixed bag for me. What about you?
I thought of the word transition. Because I think 2020 and 2021, I think I did experience a lot of growth, but I feel like this year was kind of more the growing pains of and transitioning and learning, and it wasn't as whiplashy as your year, but it was a year of learning, and some of that learning was hard.
Yeah.
But also not bad. It was just kind of a weird year, and it was funny because in 2021, I was kind of walking into this year with some trepidation. I kind of was, and I guess it was because COVID was still I hadn't had it yet, and it was I don't know, it was still looming a little. But I was kind of walking into 2022 a little anxious last year. I don't know why. But I'm feeling a little bit better of a mindset now going into 2023. But I don't actually, you said this in one of the last podcasts. We don't like to put a lot of pressure on a year to be a great year.
This is going to be our year.
This is going to be my year. No, but also I think you can walk into it positively. I mean, I really like setting goals, and I really like the clean slate of a new year. And I think because you and I see everything in our life in a timeline, guys, if you've been listening, we're good with dates.
Really good with dates.
Because we see everything in a timeline, I really do see everything in calendar format.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I do get excited for the clean slate of a new year, because for me it quite literally does feel like a clean slate. Obviously I'm still the same person, but it feels like a new slate. For me. So
yeah. I feel and maybe this is just adulthood, I don't know, I feel very ready to start something new. I am looking forward to that freshness. I know like January and February are never particularly exciting months on their own. It's usually cold and winter is a little sad.
Yeah.
but I do, you know what? I had a good January this past year, and I want to, I don't know, I kind of want to keep that energy going, and there's something like really invigorating with a new start anyway, even if it's not really the same, really.
I actually quite like January. I always kind of hate on the winter months because they are my least favorite. But January, I like Christmas is really fun, but it's overwhelming, and it's kind of nice to like clean out all your Christmas decorations and like start new, start fresh, get your goals. I don't know. I kind of like January for that reason.
I feel like I visualize it a lot like a vertical line. So January feels literally like the top of the year.
Oh, see, mine is horizontal.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I also think of like the calendar format, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, they might care. Who knows? You guys might care about how we see time.
Regardless, I mean, how have you been this past week? And then we can talk about this past year. Goodness.
Yeah. Oh gosh. No, this past week has been good. So I've been. If you notice me like clearing my throat or coughing, I was sick. I got sick like 2 weeks ago, and I'm fine now. But it's just like still that linger. If you hear me clearing my throat a lot, that's why. But no, I've been good. And when I did get well, because like I said, I've had this like over 2 weeks now. When I did get well, I went to the Pentatonics concert.
So cool.
Their Christmas concert. It was so fun. I went with my mom and my sister, and oh my gosh, it definitely got me in the Christmas spirit. It was like just so much. It was a really fun show. We made a TikTok like with them. Like it was just like really like fun. And so, but yeah, it's been a good past 2 weeks. I haven't done much, but I'm getting ready for Christmas. What about you?
Ooh, that's so exciting. Yeah, it's been a nice past 2 weeks. I feel like I was like trying to recover from like vacation and everything, and people in my family had COVID, so it was kind of like tense for a minute there, but they're all doing a lot better. And what else? I've done some Christmassy things. Yeah, gearing up for the holidays. What are you doing for Christmas?
I'm staying here, and I'm gonna be with my family. We're just doing our immediate family this year. So my sister, my parents, my nephews.
Oh, that'll be
if
so
you can
much
call
fun.
that immediate. Yeah, I'm excited. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out with my parents. My brother and sister-in-law, we saw them for Thanksgiving, and I think they're gonna like stay home for Christmas, like their home. So I think it'll be just like a nice, quiet little time. We'll watch some movies, be cozy.
Yes, that'll be fun. I like a cozy, chill time. Yeah, very much so.
Oh boy! All right.
Yes, we can go through the year. So I went and looked up exactly when the seasons start and end because we like to go through this by season.
Yes.
So you could go first, Cass, but I will remind you
Please.
that winter starts in December, but we're obviously starting in the new year. So winter technically goes till March 20th. So what were you doing January through most of March?
Yeah,
what
okay.
was up with Cass?
Okay. Do you want to alternate things, or?
Yeah, we can.
I feel like it might get monologue-y if we just like each talk about our own lives. But hey, okay. So, starting in January, I started grad school. I mentioned this at the end of last year's, and I think at the beginning of this year's also. But I did in fact start my first semester of grad school. I'm doing it part-time, but I'm studying user experience design, and it's been so cool. Like I'm actually so glad I'm doing this. I love like learning new stuff. When you're an adult and you just like work during the day, sometimes it feels like you have a lot of spare time, which is good, but I feel like this was a great time to start. And I really enjoyed my winter term. I like a lot of intro level courses, but really got me like into the field, and I'm looking forward to the rest.
And you guys, Cass is thriving in her studies. Like, she's doing such cool things. Yeah, no, you're doing like, I love hearing about it, and like the things she's studying is so awesome, and she's doing such a great job, and I'm so proud of you. And like, I actually forgot that it had started in January. That's really cool because it's like a whole year of grad school.
So wild. And
That's
also,
so cool.
thanks to Casey and other people in my life that I have roped into being part of my project. I have to do a lot of like interviews like with people and record things, and it's part of the whole field and like research and whatnot. And Casey's done, I think, 4 of them for me. It's been so helpful though.
I always have fun doing them for sure. So my January was a good January. One of the first things I did in the new year of 2022 was I was a bridesmaid in one of my best friend Michelle's wedding. The wedding was in Houston, Texas. My parents were also invited because she grew up with us, so she knows my parents pretty well. So we all went, and we were all really involved in the wedding. I sang at the wedding. My dad did the prayer at the rehearsal dinner.
That's so
I gave a toast as well. It was really special, and it was really great also to like spend some time with her husband because I had met him only once before because long distance friends. And so, and sometimes she would come to visit me without him and things like that. But no, it was a really, really great way to start off the year, to celebrate them and just to see them. And it was a really lovely wedding too. We had a great time, and it's fun to travel sometimes for a wedding.
You looked so pretty.
See a new place. Oh, thanks, girl. It was a lot of fun. It was like a winter wedding, too, which is kind of different. It was in January, but it was in Texas, so not too cold. So it was a great time. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so awesome. And I remember when that was happening. And, like sending pictures of the gowns. And we were both in a bunch of weddings. We'll get to that later. But, like,
yes.
A season of bridesmaidery.
Oh yes, lots of bridesmaiding this year.
So
we did an episode on it.
Oh yeah, we did. So you should go back and listen.
Yes.
So in February, I had a very interesting February, and it was fine for most of the month. I have not yet said this on the pod, but I think now is as good a time as any.
I think, didn't you quickly, I hate to cut you off, but I think you quickly, like,
I think I did.
Did a throwaway sentence of it one time.
I just, like,
yeah, sorry.
It was very, it was a very, like,
briefly,
quick note. I didn't really expand on it.
Talk about it.
But,
right.
At the end of February, I went out for a walk at night. It wasn't, like, super late, but it was dark. It was February. I did not have Romana with me, but I did have my cane. And while I was crossing a pretty safe intersection, a distracted driver hit me with her car, which was kind of insane, honestly. I feel like, I mean, obviously it was really horrible, but ultimately, like, I'm really grateful to be where I am right now. It absolutely could have been much worse than it really ended up being. A lot of medical appointments after that, but I didn't necessarily need any kind of surgeries or anything. But like that first month after, it was very, very difficult, honestly. But I'm really, really grateful for the people that I had around me, my friends from church and my family, my parents, and Case, who kept me entertained with memos and all kinds of, like, fun stuff to, continue to distract myself with it. And I could, like, vent to her about, like, all of my feelings. So, honestly, like, it's definitely colored the entire year. But also, like, for everyone listening, especially for the blind folks, like, don't underestimate the value of O&M. Because of O&M, like, I knew that I was in the right. Like, I was doing, I was proceeding the right way that I was taught in O&M. It really was the distracted driver's fault. And unfortunately, this does happen with some frequency to blind people. And I don't say that to scare you. I do say that to to remind people that, like, it does happen. I think Molly Burke, like, got tapped by a car sometime earlier this year also. So just, like, be safe out there, everyone. Like, honestly, again, it was not my fault. There's really nothing else I could have done about it. But, like, it does remind me, though, of, like, one of my absolute favorite songs is by one of my favorite bands, Local Natives. And it's a really simple song about, like, and, like, I don't know, the main line at the end of kind of the third verse, or I think it's the last line of the song, but it's like, when you think that the bad feels so bad, it makes the good feel so good. And I really do feel like that is so true. It made the springtime almost more beautiful, because I was just, I don't know, really grateful I was grateful to be alive, and I'm glad that I can walk again. So that's that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like, it's pretty easy, like, since you are blind, it might be pretty easy for people to, like, assume it had something to do with you, when really, yeah, it was a freak accident that had nothing to do with you. You were doing all the right things. It was not your fault. And so, yeah, like, I just wanted to emphasize that, because I feel like as blind people, we're often blamed for, like, things like that of, like, oh, you probably just couldn't see. It's like, no, like, that was it was the driver's fault. They were being negligent. So,
absolutely. A lot of prayer, honestly.
I'm glad you shared that, though, because, yeah, like, I feel like this was the right time to share that with the pod, because, well, first of all, I think maybe some people listening have been through something similar or can relate, like you were saying. But also, you know, it was just kind of like we didn't know when to bring it up in the past, but I feel like in a year wrap up, it did color your year in a lot of ways, so it, like, makes sense to bring it up. And I'm glad, you know, that you are doing, you know, maybe not 100%, but you're doing, like, a lot better now.
Oh yeah, so much better.
And so definitely
still a process.
Yes. I had a few things in February. Well, first of all, I got COVID at the start of February, and I wanted to bring that up because I was really afraid of getting it, like, for 2 whole years, you know, and I was almost glad when I did. I hate to say that, but, like, I did struggle with it a lot. It was actually, like, I didn't, like, go to the hospital or anything, but it was much worse than just, like, a common cold for me. But I was, like, relieved almost after I got it, because I was like, okay, I survived it. Like, I'm okay, because, you know, I have bad asthma and stuff, so I was afraid. And so that happened. And then at the end of February, I went on my first ever, like, work trip. Yeah. And that was really cool, because I got to meet my coworkers for the first time in person. And I, you know, it felt kind of fun to, like, fly, and, like, I wasn't paying for it. And it was to Orlando, and it was also nice to go to Orlando in February to escape the cold. And I was actually, like, side note, I was actually there when Cass got hit by the car, and it was really sad to hear about that, obviously, because I love her so much. But yeah, like, it was still, like, a really good trip. I wasn't saying that, like, ruined my trip, but
oh, wow.
I just had to, like, when I think about the accident, like, I also, like, that trip was really enjoyable for me, but I also think about that trip.
Yeah.
Because, like, she tried to call me, and I knew immediately something was wrong, because I knew she knew I was out of town, and I was like, she would not be calling me right now. And then you said, I have a life update. And I was going through a billion things in my mind of what it could possibly be, because I knew something was wrong. And so anyway, that was, like, a whole thing. But,
yeah,
you know.
I am so glad she picked up, honestly. Like, I really, a voice memo wouldn't do it justice. And
no, gosh, no. No, I wanted to hear your voice and know you were at least up and talking.
Yeah.
You know, so, but, you know, I think it definitely made me, as your friend, like, so grateful for life and for you. Like, you know how you were saying, like, the bad times make the good times better. Like, it made me, like, evaluate how much you mean to me. Because, like, when something like that happens, you're like, oh my gosh, like, that person means so much to me. And I I'm so glad that they're okay, because, like, you know, it could have been worse, and I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah. No, and oh, girl, I love you, though. I appreciate you so much.
Love you, boom.
That's almost all I have the winter. I mean, so it's
too.
No secret that, like, I've been in a bunch of weddings. So, like, they kind of, a lot of the wedding events happened staggered. So the first wedding's bachelorette was at the end of March. And that was something that I got to enjoy. It was one of the first things I had done after the accident, and it was wild, but I still really enjoyed it. And, I had a great time.
Awesome. So are we technically in the spring now then?
I think we are. I think we are.
Okay, we'll go to the spring. So this spring, okay, I kind of have like, I kind of have like seasonal affective disorder, I think, with like weather. And I always thought it was more like the winter, but I think the spring is also like really rainy all the time.
True.
And like still cold when you think it shouldn't be cold anymore. And I was kind of going through a time this spring, feeling kind of like I needed to get out of the house more because I work from home, right? And I live alone. And I was like kind of going a little stir crazy because I feel like in the summer and in the fall, there's like a lot of activities and outdoor things to do. But in those months, like even in like March and April, you know, usually we have our Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome conference to kind of break up that time of year. But we did not. Once again, our conference got canceled for Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome because we're all very medically fragile and we're praying we can have it next year. But that conference got canceled. So I was kind of going through like not a great time mentally, but I will say something that happened that helped me and that I really like. I got a stationary bike.
Oh, yeah, that's when you got the bike.
I got the bike. I got it in May, but I'm counting that as like the spring. I mean, that is the spring. So I really, okay, ever since I got it in May, not counting like when I've been out of town or sick, I've ridden it every single weekday since I got it. Like Monday through Friday. And then I take the weekend off. And I love it. And I was like talking to my therapist about it. I'm not in therapy right now, but I was in the spring. And she was saying like, you know, it's a lot of studies show that like exercise can have a very similar effect as like an antidepressant, you know, like on your body and it really did like help me kind of get out of that funk. And I really enjoy it. I don't even ride for that long or that crazy. I just ride like 15 minutes a day and walk my dog.
That's
like
awesome.
That's how I stay active. But I wanted to mention that because I can't ride a bike. Here, wah. Like I don't know how to ride a bike. I'm just saying it's embarrassing to say that, but I
mean,
so
we'll let it slide. You're blind.
I'm blind and have inner ear like balance issues, but I really like the stationary bike, and I'm so glad that I found like a way of exercising that I've actually stuck with, because there have been so many times I've started like an exercise routine and like do not stick with it.
Yeah. And
this is the first time I've been doing that like all year since, so I really like it. And yeah, that was my spring update.
Oh, I love that. I think the spring, there wasn't a whole lot that happened. I feel like a lot of it was kind of just like reintegrating myself back into my life from the accident. But it really was still like a lovely time. I was wrapping up the end of my spring term, so I did a lot of schoolwork and again, more wedding things, which was really fun still. Bridal showers, and then when is the spring over?
Let me check.
I'm just like I want to make sure I'm in the right season.
June 21st.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, okay, wow, that's funny. It's technically spring. I always see June as summer because, like, as a kid, like, you were off school in June.
Yes.
But anyway, like, bridal showers. My friend Kristen got married at the end, or, like, the third week of May, and that was such a fun wedding. I really enjoyed that. And then my brother got married literally 6 days after in Arkansas, which is just like insane turnaround, but still like really fun wedding. My friend Diana had her bachelorette in like within the first, it was like mid-June. Yeah, like mid-June, and I got to visit her. I meet some of her friends in Tampa, and that was a lot of fun. So mostly wedding stuff in the spring.
Yeah. Wait, I do have one more spring thing because I'm like you. I thought June was the summer. Like I'm like losing it. But actually, it was like right around the time your brother got married, I went on a beach trip with my whole family.
Yes.
And so I went on this same beach trip with my family in 2021, but we all got sick. Like literally all of us were sick in this house together. And it was kind of horrible. Like, I mean, it was okay, like for some of the time, but like we all felt bad. But this time we went back and I kind of had like that like negative connotation of like, I've been sick at this like condo because we stayed at the same condo. And no, literally it was like one of the best trips of my entire life. Like, and I know it's like just the beach. It's like, okay, whatever. But like so many like amazing memories. And like I said, I was kind of coming out of a funk too. And it was just like exactly what I needed.
That's so
and
wonderful.
Like, I mean, we had amazing times. Like we really know this beach and this area well, so we like know all the local spots we like now, and like we're going back again. It's like so much it's like my happy place. I love it so much, and we had a great time. So wanted to say, and I remember listening to memos in the beach condo about your brother's wedding and how it went. And so like that makes me, it's funny like seeing our years like side by side, because when you say things that happened to you, it's like it happened to me.
Well, no, seriously, I remember
well.
being back. Like I remember coming back from Carlos's wedding and staying with my parents for a few days, and I remember hearing you tell me about like the beach trip and how lovely it was to be with your nephews and all that. So like,
it's like our lives are like happening to each other.
It's so wild. This is
so
what happens when
like,
you voice memo your friend like
yes.
so
this
often.
Is like this. There's nothing you're gonna say in this that I don't know. Like when it happened.
Yeah, seriously. Well, let's see. I don't think there's anything that's gonna stump you. Like I really don't.
Yeah.
Let's find it.
Oh my gosh.
So is that like that's all I had for the spring? Is that all you had for the spring?
That's all for the spring.
Okay. So the summertime, my birthday, I guess, is at the beginning of the summer. And
yes.
I turned 25 and it was so much
yes.
fun. I remember like having such a lovely birthday. Went to this like speakeasy place with like a lot of my friends, and we had a great time. My friends are quite casual people, and I like Case and I love to dress up, but like I wanted to feel fancy, so I was like, okay, everyone, can we like dress up just like a little bit? And we did, and it was so much fun, and hung out some of our friends afterward, and that was just like, I don't know, like I feel like as an adult you end up having to, you plan your own parties, like that's what happens usually.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like this birthday was the biggest one I'd had in a while, and it felt special, and I just really enjoyed it.
The pictures were so gorgeous. Like it looked so like classy. Like you looked so good in your like black dress you had on, and like, yeah, it was a lovely, like I wasn't there, but it looked like a lovely, lovely
I wish it would have been there,
I remember girl, same. Okay, yeah, summertime. So I love the summer. I always thought of myself as a fall Christmas girl, and I love it, but man, I love the summer so much. It does something for my soul. My parents have a pool. I won't shut up about that fact because I love the water so much that I was at the pool.
Edge of the
water. Edge of the water. Copyright Cass. No.
Sorry, cease and desist.
Yeah, we do not own Moana.
We do not.
I love the water. I was at the pool just all the time, and like talk about doing something for your mental health. Like honestly, the pool is like my serotonin. Like literally swimming. There's nothing that makes me happier than swimming. Well, maybe some things, but it's in the top 10 surely. And so I did that, and I went to Dollywood with some of my friends in the summer. And just like, I feel like the summer, there's a lot of, I'm looking to see if I made any more like notes or anything about it, but I feel like in the summer, there's a lot of, like trips and stuff. And then of course we did a whole episode about it. We had the NoahCon and I got to see Cass.
Yes.
And we went to Disney for a short time and just got to see all of our friends.
Lost in Disney for a short time.
Got lost. It was great. No, but like, yeah, summer, I feel like it's a busy time. A lot of travel, a lot of friends. Yeah. I got out of the house a lot more. Like I was saying, in the spring, I felt kind of like locked up. I was seeing a lot of friends. I made some new friends. You know, I was really trying to like keep up with old acquaintances, make some new ones. And it was a really good summer. I had a good summer. Yeah. What about you? Any more for you for that?
Yeah, I felt so busy in the summer. The last wedding that I was in was like the beginning of July. And again, really, really fun. All the weddings I was in were very different, and it was really fun to experience all of them and be involved in them. And so, like, no offense at all to my friends and brother, but like it was very nice to be done with wedding season. I had a lot of fun, but I was like, all right, I need some time. And in early August, I took a trip. My parents and I try to take like an international trip together every year. And this year we went to Iceland, and it was so beautiful. It was just like the perfect time to get away for me. I really enjoyed it. Iceland is so like different and interesting. It reminded me a little of when we had gone to Chile last year. But also kind of volcanic, kind of island. It at some points it felt like an alien landscape, really. Like it was just it was so different, but still like had its own beauty. Tons of volcanoes. But seriously gorgeous. And I really, really enjoyed that trip with them. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the pictures were amazing. And I remember when you got home, it was like a whole podcast of voice memos about the trip.
It was like probably 20 minutes of memo.
Yeah, it was. And I loved it because she had so many fun stories from it, and the people she met and the things she did. It was really cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, is that pretty much it for summer?
I think that's pretty much my summer.
Yeah, even though summer ends later than you would think too.
It's like the end of September, yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, we're going into fall. I really dove head first into like fall activities this year, like even more so than I've been doing with Christmas, which kind of makes me sad because Christmas is my favorite, but fall, man, I was going hard.
Yeah, you
for
were.
Halloween
you absolutely
this year.
were, and I loved it.
I was going hard. I did a lot of fun things. My friend Ashley and I like took her nieces to a few different like cute Halloween type things. Like we did a neighborhood party thing. We did a thing at the zoo. I had my nephews over for a fun little fall thing. And I know we've talked about a lot of these little things on the podcast before because in our like opening segment, we'll talk about things we've done, but really just had a good time, really like diving headfirst into Halloween and into that fall season. And yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
That's so nice. I feel like for me, for all that the summer and spring were like super hectic, the fall definitely chilled out a lot, and I was honestly really grateful for that. It was really good to have a breather. And so I did do some fall activities, went apple picking, went to a corn maze, things that we've mentioned before. I went to a lot of shows, actually, from, like, kind of end of the summer through the fall. I had gone to other shows, concerts throughout the year, but, like, the fall, I feel like, was the largest, like, concentration of concerts. I officially, since I went to a concert last Friday, and it's, like, the last one for this year, do you know how many shows I've been to this year?
Oh, my gosh. If I had to guess, it would have to be like 15.
Yeah, 16 shows.
16? Oh!
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I honestly, like, I keep a running note on my phone of, like, the concerts that I've been to just so that I can, like, look back on it and be like, oh, yeah, that was such a great show, whatever. And I can also keep track of the set lists I own, which was kind of a major highlight. I got to see two bands that I really, really love. and in September, and I got to keep their set lists, and that was just like a fan's dream. It was really, really special. So like really, really cool that happened. And so I feel like that's a lot of what I did in the fall. And then also I don't take the summer term for grad school, so I had that off, and then I was also in school this fall, so kept things
I've probably
busy.
seen about that many plays and musicals this year as well. So do you have, I mean, I hate to make you pick between your favorite children here, but do you have a favorite concert that you've seen this year?
You know what? It was actually like pretty, like not too far from the accident. And like I like was still had like a walker and everything, and I went with my mom, and I saw Half Alive, and that was an incredible show. And it felt very redeeming because, like, I didn't think I was going to be able to go, and we still, like, we still were able to make it, and we saw it in the ADA section, and that was just, like, really special. I also really loved the opener, Daisy the Great. That's where I heard them for the first time, and I got really into them since then. So I think that was one of the best shows I had seen all year. Also, honestly, seeing the two shows that I got set lists from, seeing The Shins and Death Cab for Cutie, it was honestly remarkable. Like I was like in a weird mood the day after I saw Death Cab, because it was just like this thing this thing I had waited for so long to do, and then it was like over, and I was almost like sad about it. I think I actively cried. It was really like I felt kind of embarrassed, but honestly
I remember. No, it makes sense.
It was such an emotional high. Okay.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me totally.
What about you? What have been like some of the favorite shows that you've seen?
Hadestown, which I saw in February,
That's so cool.
was amazing, and I loved it, and that was my favorite. I mean, I hate to say that because I'm like, what if I'm forgetting something? But no, that was the best for sure. That was the best for sure. Wait,
what about it was though?
Oh, it's just really good. The cast was amazing. The direction, I had never seen it, and I knew I liked it though. Before I saw it, and I did, and it was great. Okay, actually, we're still in the fall technically. Funny story.
December 21st, isn't it? Oh
December 21st is the winter. So really, we won't be like having much of a winter this year. But anything like recently that you want to highlight?
Yes, and you know what I'm going to talk about.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry.
Okay. Well, okay, there are two things actually I want to say. First, so I feel like grad school has like been an ongoing topic, but it's because it's an ongoing thing. My grad school classes run in half semesters, so they're almost like quarters, but like I take one class at the beginning of the semester and one class like right after that. And the class that I just finished literally like 2 days ago was like a self-directed research project, and I won't talk too much about it because I could talk about it for an eternity. But like it was really, really cool to have the opportunity to do that. Honestly, like it was pretty involved. So I'm talking about it because I'm also glad to be done, but Case was a big part of it, and it was just really awesome to be able to have that start. Like I think it started like mid-October. And I brought it through to like Sunday. So I'm super grateful for all of the people that participated in it and put in a ton of time into it. But like, I think
so proud of you.
Ultimately, I'm really proud of that. But what I'm going to talk about now. So I think I've mentioned on the pod that I love to go to my local library. And the library, if you didn't know...
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, JK. I was talking about you.
Well, I thought you were going to say coming here.
Yeah, I was going to talk about you. It's a red herring. Okay, I visited my best friend, and she's so cool.
Oh my gosh. No, but wait, you can say what you were going to say.
No, because I do want to talk about this. I feel like it makes it sound like I wasn't going to talk about it, but I was. I wrote it down.
Well, I didn't know. I thought you genuinely weren't when you started saying the other thing. I was like, oh, never mind.
No. it was amazing. We recorded a whole episode about it.
Yes, we don't have to like, rehash it.
It was still super, super special. I was also working on the aforemmentioned project while I was there, and it was it was a time. But like, I don't know, it's just so different being together. It's just so different.
I think one of my favorite moments of when you were here, actually, I mean, we did so many fun things, but like that very last night before you
Why
left,
am I thinking of the same thing? I was just sitting on the futon talking for like
we just
forever.
sat on the futon and talked until like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
probably.
Oh gosh.
It was such a good conversation. Like, we don't ever get to have those kind of conversations. I mean, we do sometimes, like on the phone, but
it's not the same though.
Not the same. Not the same. And I think it was like a really cool way to close out the year. I turned 30. You were here.
Yeah, it was amazing to be there for that. Your friends are awesome. Your family is lovely. I got to meet her nephews. Yes. It was truly a dream. I loved them so much.
It was so great. And so, no, I do want you to talk about the other thing.
Okay, no. So I was totally kidding, but this is just like something fun that I've done pretty recently. Also, I went to Disney with my family, but I have already mentioned that on the pod as well.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. But the library, if you didn't know, is a really great place to get involved in your local community. So I saw, and I'd been trying to go, but I wasn't ever able to until November, like end of November. They have this cookbook club, and they meet once a month, and I started going end of November, and it was lovely. It was me and like 12 old ladies, and we like have assigned books for the month, and then we make food, and we come and we talk about it, and we get to eat, and it was really special. We had a cookie swap yesterday. That was so cool. I have just like a buttload of cookies.
Yes. And that makes me so happy. You have no idea how happy it makes me to hear about when she sends me memos about her cookbook club, because I think it's like literally the cutest thing I've probably ever heard of in my entire life. And I would love to join a cookbook club. You kind of remind me of two different like things I've joined this year that have brought my year a lot of happiness. The first thing is I'm like part of like a church community group now that meets every other week that has been really great. And then the other thing is I'm in a book club that started like in the summer. And so that has been a lot of fun too. We've read now like 5 books, I think. We're on our 5th. And so I really enjoyed being part of like just because the cookbook club reminded me, like I love a club or a group or like I love that kind of thing. Like it's great. It's a great way to like get out of the house and have something that's is like always going to happen at a certain time, and you can go and be there. And so
and really you know cool. What? Like didn't you also go to the Backstreet Boys with some of those book club friends?
I did, yes. We went to that was my book club, peeps, was the Backstreet Boys.
That's so cool.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely. So what about like, I feel like something that also colors our year is like the media we are consuming throughout it. Like, if you're anything like me, like when you think about a certain time of year, don't you kind of think about what you were watching and listening to? And like, like I do. And so I didn't know if you wanted to share. We were going to share our Spotify Wrapped, but we'll wait for that. I didn't know if you wanted to share like what media you were consuming this year, like what shows or movies or anything, podcasts, anything like that.
I do a lot of rewatch. I don't know, like I know some people who don't rewatch, which I don't understand. Like I guess there is like always that much media, but I don't know. I feel like there are some cozy shows that I love to, just enjoy again.
Yeah. Okay.
So I rewatched New Girl. That's a classic. I think in the springtime though, I when I think of the springtime, I think of My Little Pony, because that is what I was watching. Gosh. And it was, a little bit after the accident. So I just wanted something wholesome and like uplifting, and you know what? MLP did that for me, and I was really happy.
And that was not a rewatch. That was not a rewatch. Time. And I mean, I'm gonna take a little cred for that.
You should take all the cred, because it was like a week after the accident, and I was like, so you mentioned My Little Pony. Please say more.
Well, it's funny because I had been watching it when I had COVID, because it is like my comfort watch. And please laugh at us all you want. You can.
Whatever.
It's fine. I don't consider myself a brony per se, but like it's a wholesome show and we love it.
It's cute.
It's so cute. It makes me see. I watched it as it was airing, so I have like nostalgic feelings for it. But
I did not, and I still thought it was pretty.
And you still thought it was great
for a kids show. Like it was honestly surprisingly funny. I definitely didn't expect it to be funny.
Yeah. Okay, so go on. So you watched that.
Another thing that I watched in the springtime, also thanks to Casey, and through the summer, because there's tons of episodes, and so it was kind of a passive watch. Like I love a sitcom as a passive watch, but I watched Bob's Burgers, which I had also never seen before, and it was funny and wholesome and just a nice thing to have on in the background. So that was also really nice.
Another great one. Absolutely.
Another great one. And I'm trying to think of... When I think of, like, the late summer, I think of watching SpongeBob with you. And so, like...
That was the joy of my life,
it was
I'm pretty sure.
Amazing. Like, truly wonderful.
Truly wonderful. No other way to put it.
Yeah. It was a joy. It was a joy to be home.
And now we're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, which kind of goes to show, is there anything in common between the last 4 shows that you've listed?
I wonder.
Cass and I, we're animation gals,
we
okay?
love
like
cartoons.
We love a cartoon. And like this is like something that bonds me to you because I've always loved a cartoon. And people don't get it. Wait, you also watched She-Ra this year, didn't you?
I did watch She-Ra, and I did finish Steven with you in, like, February.
You watched so many cartoons.
I watched so many cartoons. Oh, my God.
I'm so happy about it. Literally, that's, like, my favorite thing. People don't understand.
I've only
like,
loved them more knowing you and, like, being your friend. Like, I always did love them, but, like, you inspired me to love them more.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you, because usually when I try to, quote-unquote, inspire people to love cartoons, they, like, shut the door in my face.
Please.
And, I mean, this is true. None of my friends get me the way you do with this, and so, like, thank you. Yeah. I think do you have any more? I don't want to.
I mean, I did rewatch some shows I had seen before in the fall, but I watched them in Spanish dub, which was really interesting and really cool. So that was something that I did this year, but nothing. I don't think anything insane. Oh, and Stranger Things, that was great. Everyone watched that.
Of course.
What about you?
I started off the year watching the 3rd season of Anne with an E because I had watched the other 2, but not the 3rd season. As we all know, I'm obsessed with Anne of Green Gables. And it was literally the most lovely thing to watch in the winter.
A cottagecore queen.
Like, it's such a I'm a cottagecore queen. What can I say? And we love a winter cottagecore show. And then in the spring, when I was going through kind of my, like, funk with the weather and, like, not leaving my house, freaking... Crikey, It's the Irwins was single-handed. It was single-handedly pulling me through the spring. Literally makes me. I want to rewatch it. Like, it literally brings me so much joy. I can't even highly recommend.
Rewatch that in the spring. Sometimes I love to rewatch shows in the seasons I had seen them in.
In the season you'd seen them. I love that. I finished Full House, which took me a full 2 years.
It took her way too long, you guys.
No, I think it was over a year, but I finished rewatching Full House. I'd seen it billions of times as a child. I started Golden Girls, which I take a really long time with my sitcoms, you guys. I don't binge sitcoms, so like I'm definitely still not done with it, but really enjoying that. I watched Schitt's Creek. I had a fun time with that show. I liked that a lot. I watched, obviously, SpongeBob and finished Steven Universe and am still watching Atla with Cassandra. And guess what, guys? We are on the series finale, like, right now.
Yeah,
like,
part 2.
We're on part 2 of 3. So tomorrow we will finish Atla.
I can't believe it.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't believe
that
it.
makes me so... That's been such a fun journey with you, too.
Oh, yes.
I love, like... you get to see a show from a totally new way when you're watching it with a friend and sharing your thoughts. And like, actually, I have like an epiphany about it. I'm not going to share with you yet, but it's something I have learned from this rewatch with you that I hadn't thought about before. So
wait,
that
when are
has
you
been.
gonna tell me when we're done?
Well, I can't tell you yet. No, like, yeah, when we're done with the series. I also started watching Wednesday, like, last week. I have not finished it yet. Guys, I'm not good at, like, finishing shows quickly, but it's very good. And also, yeah, Stranger Things. I also was definitely watching season 4 when that aired.
Oh,
and
yeah. Speaking of finishing series, I finished, which I had started watching a few years ago, and then I realized that they had finished it with a 4th season. Guess what? Another cartoon, Carmen Sandiego, which was excellent.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It's really good, and I was like geeking out because it's part like. It's not even like a murder mystery, but it's also, you know, there's lots of like high stakes heists and stuff, which is really cool. There's a lot of like cheesy banter, like one-liners, punny one-liners, and like some pretty solid character development in between all that. But it's also a travel show. And so they would go to locations that I've been to in person. And so that's cool. I would geek out about that. Like in the 4th season, there's one episode where they're in Reykjavik and I'm like, I was there. And they show the opera house, but an animated. And I'm like, I went to that opera house. Like I was so excited.
That's so cute. I'm just itching to watch more animation as that's my normal state in life. And like, I'm excited to do that with you. Like, I think we need to continue this journey.
I think so.
We have a few ideas. We won't say anything out loud yet, but we have a few, like, ideas for upcoming buddy watches of cartoons.
They may or may not involve shows we have not seen together. Or we have not seen at all.
You also watched Fairly Odd Parents this year.
My gosh! Yes, I forgot.
You've watched so many cartoons. I'm so proud.
I didn't even actualize that thought that I watched that many cartoons this year. It was a good year for it, y'all.
Well, when is it not? It's always a good year for it.
Cartoons.
Oh my gosh. Never not a good year for it, in my opinion.
Brilliant. That was a hilarious rewatch. I was surprised that it was still funny.
Oh, it's so funny. Weren't you also watching Arthur at one point?
Yes. They have like the first season of it available through the library. Girl, I'm such a sucker for especially like PBS cartoons because that's what I grew up on.
Of course.
And so like I remember we didn't have like a lot of channels for a while, and so like we used to watch just like the PBS cartoons, and man, they were so solid. Like,
absolutely.
I love rewatching those. I wish there were a cheaper way to be able to watch them, but Amazon Prime owns them all now, and you have to pay for Prime and you have to pay for the channel, which is just rude.
Oh. I've also read a lot of great books this year, and we won't really get into that. We want to do a whole episode on books and reading eventually. But I didn't want to like let this pass by because I enjoy my my entertainment in a lot of different mediums, and books is one of them that I really enjoy. And I've enjoyed a lot of books this year, and I can't pick a favorite on the spot, but there have been some great ones that I have really liked.
That's so great. You should list some of those, though.
Oh, I'm going to have to go to my Goodreads really quick. And then we'll talk about music, and then we'll be out of here.
For the year.
I quite enjoyed I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I think we all read that this year, most of us. Really liked the 100 Years of Linny and Margot. That was good. The Midnight Library. I could say the authors here. Matt Haig. Oh gosh. There were so many. Okay, wait. There was another one, but I think that's where I'll leave off because...
Lovely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I never can say this word right, but the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. I said that wrong for sure. But that was incredible.
Don't know how I could even correct you because I don't know.
Okay, thanks. Perfect.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have, but not really, but kind of.
It's our Spotify Wrapped. It's not a game.
It's just our Spotify Wrapped. We know you love it. This is why you clicked on this episode, surely.
Absolutely. And you listened to, 50-ish minutes of it already just to hear this.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I think we should go back and forth. Like, should we go number 5 to number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay,
I don't know. Sure.
Like, we're doing our top 5 artists.
Yes.
Of the year. They're going to be shocking, I'm sure. And by that,
yeah.
I mean exactly the same people we always talk about.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. So my number 5 was the Happy Fits. And
Shock.
yeah. What?
I said shock.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So they came out with an album in August. Solid album. I listened to it a fair bit. They're in my top 5.
Wonderful. My number 5 is Aurora.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I know. It's shocking.
She's always up there somewhere.
She's always up there somewhere. I'm pretty sure she was up there last year, and she's great. I really like her, as you know.
We know this. We love it. My number 4
we love it.
is The Shins. No one
Whoa.
was shocked. And I feel like I got back into them at the beginning of this year. And I love putting them on as I work on like school stuff. And they held steady. So The Shins.
Love it. My number 4 is funny and embarrassing all at the same time.
I think I know what it is.
It is Steven Universe. And I think it's funny because, like, I don't feel like I listened to it that much this year. Like, I've listened to it a lot in the past, but, like, this year, I don't feel like I listened to it that much, but surely I did. And here it is. And it's a great, what can I say? What can I say?
Lovely show, lovely music.
It's lovely, lovely music. I quite love it.
My number 3 was Dayglow, and not surprising either. I got into them last year, and I just have been, he came out with an album in August, I think. No, in October. Just kidding. And it was pretty solid. I will say I do like his other albums a little bit better, but still great stuff.
Great. My number 3, I think, is going to shock everyone listening. It's Paramore.
Wow.
Yeah.
I honestly, how is she not number 2? Don't know.
I don't know either. Well, because they haven't released music in like 7 years.
That's right. Oh, but soon. But next year.
Except now they are.
But
and
next
it's
year.
the best. Paramore. We know them. We love them. I literally, this year is going to mark 14 years ago since I saw them live for the first time. 14. I have been a fan of these people, and when I saw them live, I had already been a fan for years prior. So I've literally been a fan of these people like more than half my life, and
that's remarkable.
I love them. I still do. I'll never not love them.
I love it. Speaking of longtime fan, my number 2 was Death Cab for Cutie. I've loved them for a decade and holding steady. I didn't realize I listened to Death Cab this much this year, but I definitely did. They're number 2 for a reason. So, really great. I'm glad that they have continued to make their appearance somewhere in the top 5.
Absolutely. My number 2 was a new person for me this year that I discovered this year. It's Leve. I've talked about her a lot. I loved her album so much called Everything I Know About Love. She has 2 I think she has 1 EP and 1 full-length album, but the full-length album was what I was binging. Such a vibe. I just love playing that album from beginning to end, and I clearly did many times this year.
Right.
Worth every moment.
Numbers
of that.
do not lie, right?
No, didn't lie.
My number 1, I honestly, I don't know. It's wild. I feel like I don't really talk about them like at all, but it's everything, and I really like them. And like their album in May, honestly, I thought it was amazing from start to finish. It was just so cool. Like from when they put out singles in February, I was in on it. Like their album from 2020, I listened to for like 2 whole years, and then look, a new one, and I find them so infectious. And so I just also love it for background music. So they find their way up in the top 5 pretty regularly.
They find their way. They do always. My number 1, Meet me at midnight.
Is it really?
My number one is Taylor Swift. And here's the deal. First of all, she deserves the spot. I'm not going to lie. But you know why Taylor Swift always seems to be number one? The woman puts out music all the time.
She has so much music.
All the time.
Well, like,
all the time.
Like, okay, let's recap, right? Like, Folklore and Evermore between 2020 and 21. And then we had Taylor's versions.
And Midnights.
The
woman has, and then Lover the year prior.
Yeah.
She's taken off a year. She's literally put out 6 albums since 2019, okay? Like, Sarah Bareilles, I love you, but have you put out 6 albums since 2019? You haven't put out one, Sarah, not one. And that's why you're not in my top 5. I love you if you're listening, because I know you are.
Yeah,
that's why you're not in my top
absolutely.
5, because you're not, Ingrid Michaelson, I'm looking at you. You're not releasing an album. And if you would release an album, you would make the top spot. But Taylor, she doesn't stop working. She puts out those albums, and she made the top because a few albums came out this year. Well, one of them, Midnights. So she's there. And I broke my back to get concert tickets, and I might tell that whole story. And I did. So I will be there, and I might see you there, but not because I'm blind. But you might see me there. Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
Some recap facts on mine, actually. So, like, all but the Shins of the people that are in my top 5 put out music this year. So, I mean, that's big contribution to them being in my top 5. And everyone but my number 1 I saw in concert this year, which was super cool.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone on my list also put out music this year, if you count Paramore's singles. except Steven Universe. Poor Steven. He needs to rest, you know?
He's had his moment. Rest. He needs a break.
He needs a break. He can't be putting out music all the time anymore, but I would like Rebecca Sugar to make a new show that I can listen to.
Ooh,
so
lovely. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
it. Oh my gosh, you guys.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh, just quickly. What? Do you have like one goal or wish or thing to say leading us into this new year?
Oh, yes. Well, I was going to thank the listeners. I really, you know what? Like, this year, however it may have been for you, I hope it was good, but even if it wasn't, we're really glad that you have made us part of your year, if only for 1 hour of your entire year. Honestly, super grateful for any listens that we get, any engagement we get. Just, you know, this is our fun little side hobby. It kind of keeps our friendship together. Not that it wouldn't exist without it, but like it is like the regular time that we like talk also. So I just like, I'm grateful for it in my life, but I hope that you've enjoyed it this year, and we hope that you'll stick around for 2023. We're going to be here, and we're going to
And if we were in your Spotify Wrapped, we want to
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
Honored.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. Thank you for listening. I think going into this year, we're hoping it's a good one. Of course, you always hope that.
Of course.
But even when years aren't very good, you're always learning and growing. And I think I have a little more positivity going into this year than last, because we kind of talked about it on our podcast from last year, like how we felt going into 2022. And I was kind of like, I hope it's good, but you know, like you never know. But but I am excited for another year of the pod, for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to celebrate our 3-year anniversary in the summer.
Wow. Oh my God.
I love the number 3. 3 is my favorite number, so I'm going to be really excited.
It will actually be, because if you've noticed at least on Apple, the way that I've structured it is like each calendar year is its own season. So all of the episodes from 2020 were season 1 and so on. So this 2023 will be season 4, which is so wild to me.
Season 4. We're also almost at 1,000 followers on Instagram. So go follow us if you haven't, so we can reach that milestone too, because that'll be a cool.
And our first episode of the year will be episode 60.
Whoa.
So,
oh my gosh.
Just super cool,
Wow.
you guys. Super, super cool.
Awesome.
As for wishes for this year or advice or whatever, you know, I think I'm hoping for a peaceful year. I'm hoping for a year where I can just like continue to learn and grow and come into, you know, my own as an adult. And like there are a few things on the horizon already for 2023 in my life. Like I won't spoil them yet, but I'm just like I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of having this attitude at this point of like, all right, I'm just going to take it as it comes.
Yeah.
And we will see what it brings. I hope good things, but if not, we're going to try and make joy wherever we can. And bake some more good food. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, as I'm entering this new year, I'm also entering a new decade.
Yeah.
And that has made me like really it's made me really introspective. It's made me really like I feel good about it though. I feel like a new decade in like your 30s, like it's brought me at least like some kind of new confidence that I hadn't really felt before. And I know like I'm not that different than I was a few weeks ago when I was 29. But I think like I'm excited to go into this new year and this new decade, especially when it comes from like a blind advocacy perspective, to like just be fully unapologetically me.
Yeah.
And to like, you know, use my cane when I want, don't when I don't want, be who I am, not really like care. I feel like a lot of my early 20s especially was a lot of caring too much. And I'm hoping to kind of go into this new decade with a confidence and like a just like being myself with no apologies. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for this year.
Yeah, and I think you can do it, and I think that, like, I think already this year, since your birthday's at the end of the year, I know you spent a lot of the year, like, kind of meditating and thinking on your 20s and also just trying to think of the person that you want to continue to be as you entered into your 30s. And so I am so proud of you, my friend. I love you so much. You're doing amazing things. I love that you never stop trying to grow and be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
You really
and
are. And you introduced me to so many cartoons, which is important.
Yes. I feel the same about you, and I think that's why another reason we're friends. And I think it's important to have friends that push you to be better. And like, you know, when I see you setting new goals and reaching new goals, it inspires me to keep trying new things and to get better. And I feel like if you have a friend that's like complacent, it's easy for you to just not want to try new things. But you have inspired me to do so many different things. And so, like, that's kind of like your impact on my life. And I feel like it's so important to have friends like that. So,
absolutely.
Same to you.
So grateful for you and for all of our listeners. We will be taking a bit of a hiatus as we did last year into the new year. So, probably.
We're not leaving.
We're not leaving. We're just taking a little break.
Don't worry.
So, we will come back probably, I think we did like, what, third week of Jan last week?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so we'll probably do that again this year. Love that we didn't discuss it beforehand. But
no, I was literally like, should I say that? Because I knew we were, but then we didn't discuss it.
We didn't.
No,
I figured we would. I'm going to be out of town
Yes.
anyway for a bit. So, like, I think.
On the same page.
I think it will work out, but we will see when we get back. And we hope
2 weeks. You all have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Like, we hope you all have a great holidays.
Whatever you celebrate.
Coming up.
And don't forget to follow us on the socials. Email us hello@rarewithflair.com. And have a great year. Have a great 2020, end of 2022, and a lovely start to 2023. We will see you there.
Yes. Yep. See ya.
Bye.